Hey up, the viewers of Talking to the Void once more. Day late on this one, but last night sort of got away from me, and by the time I'd finished the movie, it was well past 1:30, so I just pushed the video off till today. And today we're going way back, almost as far back as we can go in terms of horror films, but we're looking at the 1931 Frankenstein. Now, this one's a kind of a hard movie to actually review because so much has already been said about it. The movie still holds up, it's an enjoyable experience, and the performances and makeup effects are still great to this day. Boris Karloff is, well, his reputation is well deserved, he is amazing. And I'll give a, shout out to Colin Clive, who played a delightfully over the top Dr. Frankenstein. Like I said, this movie's kind of hard to critique, as so much is already known about it, but that actually brought up a few things I wasn't expecting. First, yes, I haven't actually seen the original Frankenstein up until this point. I've seen several other versions, just never got around to this one. But with Frankenstein so much in the in cultural lore, it's kind of hard. Then there's a few things that are just kind of expected that actually were not in the original. And that also said, the original novel and the movie versions of Frankenstein are so different that it's really hard to even draw direct comparisons. So a few things that caught me off guard in this one. Well, I mean, when you think of Frankenstein, you usually get the traditional Dr. Victor Frankenstein, his hunchback servant Igor, and then the traditional lightning bolts bringing the monster to life. And some of that is still in here, but from what to my understanding, the Hunchback sidekick, I don't believe actually exists in the novel. And in here, it's not Igor, but he goes by Fritz. Apparently, Igor came further down the road, I believe, in Son of Frankenstein, and it was such an iconic performance there that he became retroactively assumed to have been there the whole time. Also, the filmmakers made an interesting choice of actually changing Dr. Frankenstein's name in this, referring to him as Dr. Henry Frankenstein, and his best friend was named Victor. Now, in the original novel, his friend was named Henry and Dr. Victor Frankenstein. I was doing a little research into that, and apparently the filmmakers weren't sure if American audiences of the 30s could relate to someone named Victor, so they went with a more familiar sounding Henry, trying to get people to empathize with the mad doctor a little bit more. Whether or not that should have happened to empathize with the crazy scientist in this one, because I can't exactly say he's directly a protagonist, as he still is the cause of a lot of problems. It does try to soften him a little bit in that regard. I will say Frankenstein, in this day and age, it's with how familiar the story is, it's hard to be frightened by the movie at all, but the effects still hold up from then, and the movie is very atmospheric, and it's still a very enjoyable experience. Probably going to be over the course, not this month, but probably sometime throughout the rest of the year, trying to look at the rest of the collection here with 4 sequels to the original run. But get to that when I get to that. I don't know if there's too much else to comment. If anyone doesn't actually know the story of Frankenstein, crazy doctor just tries to play God and succeeds in bringing his monster to life. In this case, due to some abuse from his sidekick, monster goes mad, breaks free, and begins to terrorize the countryside before being chased down and burned to death in a windmill. In this one, they had Dr. Frankenstein thrown from the top of the windmill, but the film at the end stipulates that he survived. I believe they were hoping to set up some sequels there. And, well, they got him. I think that should be all on this one. A little bit of a shorter one again, but there's only so much that can be said about it. If you haven't seen it, check it out.